It's your girl Jasmine back on up on the channel. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay, so we got Larry Bird on the channel today. You know, I've been a little iffy about reactions and stuff because I just don't know what I want to do. Reactions, you know, one day we all good, one week we all good, next week it's problems, you know, and not with you all, but of course the system per se. I can't say too much, but if you get my drift, you get my drift. But like I said, I'm gonna try to throw in other videos that's not reactions, and hopefully you all will still rock with them. If you rock with me, I know you'll rock with them. If not, it's cool. You know, everybody likes their own thing. But I'm just trying to figure it all out, and hopefully y'all stay with me while I'm trying to figure it out. But in the meantime, between time, I told you that I would still do reactions. So, but it's reactions that I kind of know the system won't give me problems with. So that's what we're gonna do. So that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Larry Bird, baby. I'm excited for this. I'm excited because it's about his family, and I always ask you guys questions about the family, and now there's a video about it. So let's get into it. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Let's go.
School to Larry denying and ignoring his own
Loud.
biological daughter for years. This is the twisted story of Larry Bird's complex family life. Larry Joe Bird was born on December 7th, 1956 to father Claude Joseph Bird and Georgia Nee Kearns, who were both of Irish, Native American, and Scottish descent.
Wow.
Claude Joseph Jr. was born on September 21st,
Who would have known? Okay.
1926 in French Lick, Orange County, Indiana, USA. He grew up in an extended family, and while the community he grew up in was the poorest county in southern Indiana, his family suffered even more at the hands of poverty than the average person. But that didn't stop him from becoming an athlete as a teenager, even though he never played high school sports. He confined himself to what his little deprived neighborhood could offer until he enlisted in the United States Navy in 1944 at the age of 18.
Dang.
After seeing the war in the Pacific, he was pushed to join the U.S. Army to fight in the Korean War in 1951. It was during this time he also married Georgia Kearns, and together they had 6 children, 5 boys.
Ain't that crazy how back in the day people was popping out children left and right? Nowadays, boy, it's so expensive out here. So where it's like when you see a big family, you like, dang, what y'all do? We're like, dang, like you really wanted a lot of kids, but that's cool, you know what I'm saying? To each his own. But it's just funny how to see like the time, like back then it was cool to have all them kids. Like if you had 2 kids, it's like, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know, but the average back then was at least 5 to 8 kids. But now, 2 to 4 max.
And a girl. Now back home as a war veteran nursing traumatic events, he became a laborer in the Springs Valley. He was greatly liked by people who envied his fantastic use of his hand as furniture finisher, but unfortunately he was riddled with debts. But where or who could he turn to? His sons, who were passionate basketballers, were just that, passionate, but they were unemployed. And his wife, even with 2 jobs, earned a few dollars a week. So he stayed devoted to alcohol. This new addiction ensured that the paychecks rarely came home. But what about his sons playing for the varsity team in Spring Valley High School? Did he ever get the chance to see them? Well, Larry's father wasn't the best with crowds, and he had passed his shyness to Larry as well, actually. Larry revealed that his father was proud of his kids being ballers, but wouldn't want to see them play. But there is one little detail worthy of note here.
But why do y'all think that was, though? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess, you know, with the Army, PTSD and all that. I don't know. That's just me thinking. But let's go.
Which is best explained by this statement quoted from an interview with Larry himself. Quote,
I promise y'all I'm paying attention. I just don't want my phone going off.
There was one night when I had a heck of a game going. I had 30-something points in the first half, and people were thinking I was going to break the Orange County record. My dad was at home. He didn't go to many games. Well, my uncle called him in halftime and said, "You better get down here. Your boy is going to do it tonight." We didn't have no car, but he walked over.
Wow.
I ended up with 54 points and 38 rebounds.
54 points and 38 rebounds. 38 rebounds? What? Stop it. Why have I never heard of that? Why have I never heard this stat from Larry? Come on now. Come on, what?
End quote.
But the fact
But
that
as
his
Larry
daddy
still
made it
played in
over
high
there,
school
that's
and the
real.
family still struggled to make ends meet, Bird and Georgia divorced, but it became even worse for the Bird family when Joe committed suicide on February 3rd, 1975, at the young age of 48. He is currently buried in Crystal Community Cemetery, Crystal, Dubois County, Indiana. Georgia Kearns was born on June 2nd, 1930 to parents Elizabeth Noble and John Riley Kearns. Georgia is said to be the tallest among all her siblings and had married Joe when she was 21 years old. She had also been raised in a pretty poor background and basically raised her 6 kids by working 2 odd jobs, bringing in a measly $100 every week.
Dang.
Larry confirmed it once when he said, quote, I remember she worked 100 hours a week and made $100 and then went to the store and had to buy $120 worth of food. If there was a payment to the bank due and we needed shoes, she'd get the shoes and then deal with them guys at the bank. I don't mean she wouldn't pay the bank, but the children always came first.
So how's y'all order go? Is you gonna make sure the kids is straight and then you deal with that later, or you gonna make sure the bills and stuff straight and then you handle what the kids need? What y'all think of that? But that's crazy though, because that's what people do for their kids. Simple. You know, but everybody has a different way of providing for their kids. So some people may say she was wrong, but
quote. But she always had hope from her mother also, Elizabeth, who is said to have loved Larry the most. Larry also spent more time at his grandmother's house than he did his own. Georgia continued to struggle with her family even after the divorce and would move the family from one house to another due to a failure to pay rent. However, when Larry became a pro basketballer, he built his mother a new house. But it wasn't anything extravagant, just homey enough with a satellite dish and a basketball court. Larry loves it here better than anywhere else, but even with all the millions her son soon started accumulating, Georgia continued to work, and her son even encouraged her to do so, especially in the early stages of his professional career. Quote, Larry thinks I should work, she declared. He believes everyone should work. That's how he got to be such a good player. My kids were made fun of for the way they dressed. Neighbor boys had basketballs or bikes. My kids had to share a basketball. A friend of Larry's would say, if you can outrun me down to the post office, you can ride my bike for 10 minutes. Larry used to run his tail end off.
that's crazy. And that also goes back to show you don't know how bad somebody else have it. You think you have it bad, but then when you hear a story like this, it's like, dang, I was blessed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just, it's sad and it's very unfortunate, but it also instilled discipline. It instilled, I want to be great. Like, it is still greatness. It instilled toughness. It instilled that desire of knowing what he wanted for his life, for his family type thing. Like, you know, so it's like, kind of
End quote. But on October 8th, 1996, aged only 66 years old, Georgia died after suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease.
Dang.
She rests in the same cemetery as her husband.
I ain't seen none of his siblings.
Larry has
before.
5 siblings. Mike is the eldest. Mark and Linda come after Mike, but before Larry. And then there are 2 other boys born after Larry, Jeff and Eddie. Not much is known about his siblings, but I was able to dig up a few things about them. The second son of Georgia and Joe Bird, Mark Bird, was one of Larry's inspirations growing up. He was the one who first wore the number 33 when he played basketball for Springs Valley High. Larry, like his father, was too timid to watch him play in school, so Mark and Mike taught him softball and basketball at home. But Mark did not pursue a career in basketball like Larry did. He graduated from Oakland City College with a bachelor's degree in business administration and physical education in 1989. He married...
Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and give that a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people be trying to underestimate like degrees and school and stuff. Like, we not just gonna run over that like he ain't do nothing. So that's what's up.
Brenda, and together they have 2 children, Elizabeth and Joey. These days, Mark is a politician. For 12 years, he served as a Virgo council. When he later decided to be a mayor of Terre Haute, he lost to the in-office mayor Duke Bennett. This was in 2015, and Mark had cited his battle with cancer as a hindrance to his complete dedication to the political race. After that loss, not much has been heard about him since.
Dang. Hope he's okay.
Eddie Bird is Larry's youngest brother and the only one that followed in the footsteps of his elder brother. When he was a 5th grader, Eddie boasted that he was going to be a better baller than his brother.
They all kind of had
Eddie
that same
once
little
revealed
shot,
that Larry said, "Don't worry about what other people say, just go and play basketball." And it looked like he was getting there when he surpassed a record held by a NBA legend. He broke his high school record by scoring more goals than Larry did for Springs Valley. Larry had scored 1,125 points, Eddie scored 1,172. Eddie later went on to play for Indiana State University, the same college that Larry had gone to.
That is so freaking cute because you may think your siblings get on your last nerves, but in reality, it's just motivating. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? They motivated, they inspired by you. So that's dope.
But
And he
this
wasn't
time
even the
around,
oldest.
he fell behind his older brother's records. So Larry later spoke about his brother who was in college struggling to find himself. Quote, high school ball is like the lowest grade. If you were a good player, then it doesn't necessarily mean you were going to be a great player in college. With his work ethic, he's got a lot to learn, and he's going to find that the hard way. Eddie was accused of playing like his brother, but he was never able to meet up to his standard. After a while, he declared that he wasn't going to be a pro basketballer, but instead pursue a career in baseball.
Okay.
And that was the last we would hear of him.
Start your engines. Ariana Grande guest judges the 2-hour premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race. Tomorrow at 8 on MTV.
Happy New Year, Michael's Rewards members. You scored a free $5 bonus reward to kickstart a create.
Whose page is this? Basketball Dive?
Linda must have been
That's
loved
a
dearly.
dope video.
She's also a very secretive person when it comes to sharing her personal information with the world, but we do know that she was married to Benjamin Campbell and had 2 children, Benji and John, with
Okay.
him. However, they divorced and
Aw.
later were in the headlines. Benjamin had filed a terroristic threat charge against Mark, Linda, and Larry. Benjamin had decried not being able to see his kids and then getting threatening phone calls from the Birds. But the case was closed and Linda got married to another man, one Mr. Goner. And we didn't hear from her
Linda better just move on, okay? She better just go to the next person.
since.
What?
Like the rest of her siblings, she too has continued to maintain a low media profile. But as far as Larry's own
As they
family is
should.
concerned, this is how he managed to raise his own.
First wife, he was married multiple
Janet
times.
Condra was the first woman Larry was romantically involved with. Her
Okay.
exact date of birth and parental info are not known, but she did attend the same school as Bird in Indiana. As established before, he was not a social
Did y'all hear what he just said? The exact date of birth and all that is not known. Do you know how hidden he had to keep her? Come on now. I don't do the
success
same
and
thing. I
didn't
don't like
do
being
well with
around
girls.
like,
However,
no
on
ma'am, no
November
ma'am.
8, 1975, following the death of his father, he surprisingly married Janet when
Bro, I
he
gotta
was
turn the
just
sound
19
up.
years old. But their marriage was filled with a lot of rifts, and within a year, it ended. It was later discovered that Linda was pregnant with Bird. They were not on speaking terms when their daughter Corey was born in 1977. Bird initially denied her being his child, but a DNA test confirmed that she was his. Bird wouldn't reach out to her still, and he only agreed to set up an account for the kid where the mother could withdraw money from. Janet spoke on Oprah Winfrey's show about how she had to make excuses when her daughter grew up. When she was little, I made excuses. I couldn't protect her from the hurt caused by her dad. I could protect her from everything else, but not that. But Bird was really hurt about his decision to marry when he did. He regretted the situation with remorse, and he had said, quote, when I was a kid, I thought people who got divorced were the devil, and then I go out and do it myself right away. Getting married was the worst mistake I ever made.
Dang.
Everything that ever happened to me, I've learned from it, but I'm still scarred by that. That scarred me for life. That and being broke are the 2 things that influenced me most.
Okay, so since he said that, why do y'all feel like men and women have that feeling of being scared? Or I mean, relationships can be very toxic and very traumatizing. I can say that, and that does allow people to steer away from it. So you gotta let me know what you think about that.
Still, end quote. But luckily for him, he met someone more fitting for his heart and career.
Oh yay!
Dina Mattingly was born on November 16, 1954 in Indiana.
I wonder
She
how long they
graduated
dated
with a
before he
marketing major
proposed.
from Indiana State University.
Okay.
Larry and Dina started seeing each other in the early 1980s, and Larry immediately fell in love with her,
You
especially
just
with how
better.
she supported him and his career. Like when he said, quote, and Dina was with me through all that stuff. She was there. I don't know how many times that poor girl stood under the basket and passed the ball back to me, over and over, standing there, throwing it back to me so I could shoot, and then all the time taking care of my injuries, end quote. He proposed to her in a very weird way. When they were driving in his car, he brought out a ring and said, you can wear this if you want to. They were wedded in 1989 on October 31st after his separation from his first wife 13 years prior. The couple adopted 2 children, Connor and Mariah. After Corey's birth, communication between child and father was impossible. The kid looked like her dad physically. She was tall and had the same sandy blonde hair and nose. She played basketball and wore the number 33 and had a lot of Celtics memorabilia, including her father's pictures on the walls of her room. She also attended her father's former university in Indiana, but the communication was still not established. In 1998, the Baltimore Sun, referencing the Worcester Telegram, revealed Corey's dilemma with her father. She was 15 years old at the time and had complained about her father not reaching out to her. She also said she had asked her father to be at his retirement event in 1993 but got no reply. Then, on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Oprah asked,
Do we agree with this? I mean, of course, we don't know. And this is why people keep stuff secret. And, you know, and that's kind of a good thing why social media wasn't out then, because who knows how long he could have kept that a secret. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, now with social media and Google, all this stuff, you can find out a lot, right? Whether it's fake or real, you're going to find out something. But back then, nobody had that. You had the papers. And, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, so... But if I was in the spotlight, I would have been like, Bird, don't know nothing about me unless I tell you type thing, you know, unless I share it.
Asked when it was still hard for her to move on after 20 years without her father, and she said that she had moved on but still hopes she can be a part of his life. She never really gave up on trying to reach out to her dad. She was happy when he took the job to coach the Indiana Pacers because she felt he wanted to be closer to his home, and maybe there was a chance he wanted to patch things up with his old life. But like Corey said, quote, I went to see the Pacers play earlier this season, and I went down to talk to Dina, Bird's wife, and see their kid, she said. He looked over and saw me holding Bird's daughter, Mariah, but he just kind of smiled awkwardly. I didn't get to talk to him, though, end quote. But one day, she got a chance to see a game with Larry alone after Dina provided 2 tickets for father and daughter. She later happily said, quote, Dad seemed interested in what I had to say. He walked me to my car and he hugged me. I hope I can see more of him now, end quote. In his defense, Bird wrote in his autobiography, quote, I can't honestly say I've had that much to do with her life because of my differences with Janet. I think about Corey all the time, but what can I really do now? I can't go back and relive the first 5 or 6 years of her life. Corey is a fine and beautiful young lady. Her mother has done a great job bringing her up in the best way possible. Corey is also very athletic. She's good at everything she does, and I'm really proud of her. To tell you the truth, I've never really known how to handle this situation, but I love her, and anytime Corey needs anything, I will be there for her.
Before we get to Mariah, the fact that Corey still tried to reach out to her dad regardless of how nasty the situation was with his first wife and her mother, that's very mature, and that's very mature of her, for real. Because like I said, everybody needs that father figure, amazing father figure, because not everybody can be a father. Not everybody can be a father. Not everybody knows how to be a father. And Bird admitted that. He was like, the situation is tough, but, you know, I can't go back in time. You know, so that's sad that happened, but at the same time, you get, from what this video shows, it shows that, like, you know, they kind of rekindled their relationship and moved forward, and that he's always going to be there for her. So that's cool. So let's see about Mariah.
Mariah is Bird's adopted daughter. She was a cheerleader for a while, and she graduated from Boston University with a degree in science and recreation, and currently works as an events manager at Pacers Sports and Entertainment. She leads a very private life, and not much is known about her. Connor Bird is the adopted son of Larry and his wife, and he too leads a private life, but his privacy was breached in 2013 when he got into a mix-up with the law. He was arrested for allegedly attempting to kill his ex-girlfriend by running her over after they had an argument. He was 21 years old at the time and was also accused of possessing marijuana and carrying a deadly weapon, but the charges were soon dropped following a lack of evidence. Enjoyed this family video? Then check out our other videos.
Well. Boom. He dropped the mic with that one. That's crazy how they all live private lives. Like I said, I don't blame them. I would too. It's just hard when you can't keep all the stuff private, you know, especially about the son. I bet Larry probably wished that was still private. But this was interesting because I've always asked questions about Bird's family and stuff of that sort. So shout out to Basketball Dive for providing us this video. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of Larry Bird's family down below, and any other videos like see me do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, share this video. With that being said, see you guys next video.